Welcome to the most fascinating journey, a tour through the mind of one of the most iconic figures in history. I am, of course, referring to the great Bruce Lee. Throughout this video, we will unveil the most intimate secrets of his philosophy, a philosophy that made him not only a legend in martial arts but also a master of self-knowledge and self-realization. Have you ever wondered how Bruce Lee achieved such excellence and mastery, both in body and mind? Do you want to understand the concepts and principles that guided his path to greatness? If so, you've come to the right place. Throughout this journey, we will delve into the teachings that shaped the life of the great Bruce Lee. Key concepts like the way of no way, flowing like water, or action without action. We will reveal, layer by layer, the philosophical system that turned Bruce Lee into the master we know today. A system focused not only on combat, but on living a full and extraordinary existence. By the end of this video, you will understand the secrets behind Bruce Lee's superhuman effectiveness. And more importantly, you will be able to apply these same ideas to your own life to achieve your goals and unleash your maximum potential. So, without further ado, let's delve into the mastermind of Bruce Lee together. To understand Bruce Lee's philosophy, we first need to know his beginnings. Born in San Francisco in 1940, from a young age he showed an uncommon dedication to martial arts. But young Bruce had to face discrimination and rejection because of his Chinese origins. It was then that he began to carve his own path, full of adaptability and self-expression. "I am not in this world to live up to your expectations," he said, the first sign of a mind destined for greatness. After mastering several martial arts, Bruce Lee perceived their limitations. Thus, his own system was born, Jeet Kune Do. Its principles: simplicity, practicality, and freedom. Absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, summarized Bruce Lee. Jeet Kune Do emphasizes adaptability to the situation. There are no fixed rules, just fluidity, like water. This groundbreaking approach would make Bruce Lee a precursor to mixed martial arts. Bruce Lee saw personal self-realization as the pinnacle of existence, surpassing even his extraordinary achievements in martial arts. His quest was not limited to physical perfection. He aspired to comprehensive mastery, encompassing mind and spirit. Inspired by ancient concepts like Wu Wei, action through non-action, and the notion of the fertile void, Bruce Lee cultivated a philosophy of life that transcended the dojo. He professed, "Be like water, empty your mind, be formless, adaptable, just like water." This vision of fluidity and adaptability was not only metaphorical, it became the guiding principle of his personal approach to training, combat, and daily life. This mindset of constant adaptation and transformation not only guided him to martial excellence but became his compass for navigating life's challenges, always seeking to reach his maximum potential. Bruce Lee felt an insatiable thirst for personal growth. Therefore, he absorbed philosophies and techniques from any source he found valuable, from Taoism to Western fencing. As he said, "Because of styles, people are separated. We should investigate our own experience and create our own path." This constant search for truth would drive his relentless evolution. Bruce Lee rejected the idea of following established paths. He proclaimed, "If you see a clear and visible path in front of you, it is not your own path because that path has already been traveled by many people." Persistent in his desire to forge his own route, he was guided by an unwavering internal compass. He not only broke schemes, but forged new paradigms. His approach was not merely innovative but revolutionary, redefining what it meant to be a martial artist. This avant-garde vision not only marked his greatness but also sowed the seeds of his immortal legacy. "Knowledge without application is useless," Bruce Lee said. His teachings were not abstract theory, but living principles he meticulously applied. His tireless work ethic, iron discipline, and obsessive precision were the outward reflections of his philosophy. As he said, "Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do." Unlike narrow specialization, Bruce Lee aspired to harmony between body and mind. He did not see martial arts only as physical combat, but as a vehicle for mental and spiritual expansion. The aim of art is not the unilateral promotion of the spirit, soul, or senses, but the opening of all human capacities, he said. This quest for body-mind balance would define his greatness. For Bruce Lee, mastery was a journey, not a destination, a continuous process of refinement and self-perfection. Therefore, he did not fear recognizing his own limitations, only to surpass them later. As he said, mastery implies constant preparation, perpetual study, and total dedication. His greatness lay precisely in that ambition to transcend himself without pause towards the highest version of himself. As Bruce Lee rose to the top of fame, becoming a movie icon and a revered martial arts master, he was constantly surrounded by admirers praising his achievements. However, he had already embarked on a more intimate and profound journey, the transcendence of the ego. With the wisdom that transcends vanity and superficial recognition, Bruce Lee proclaimed with conviction, "The more we value things, the less we value ourselves." It was a testament to his life philosophy, which focused on genuine self-expression rather than self-glorification. He clearly understood that true greatness does not come from worshiping the self, but from the courage to set it aside. This perspective kept him grounded, allowing him to navigate the temptations of stardom without losing his essence. At his core, Bruce Lee was an artist in the purest sense, one whose art was not only to be seen on the screen or the mat, but lived through the coherence between his words and actions. His legacy, therefore, was not merely a collection of films or martial techniques, but an invitation to live with authenticity and bravery. "Be like water," Bruce Lee repeated in one of his most famous maxims. He flowed with life, adaptable, like water that takes the shape of the container. His movements were flexible, never rigid. This suppleness in body and mind was what allowed his high performance. As Bruce said, "Realize that the stiffest tree is the most easily cracked." He opted for the flexibility of bamboo. Besides being a martial arts master, Bruce Lee was a voracious student of philosophy and psychology. He understood the power of knowing oneself. As he said, "Most people live only for their image. They do not allow themselves to be themselves." But he dedicated his life to this introspective quest, becoming not only a great fighter but also a genuine thinker. Although he developed his own system, Bruce Lee never stopped learning, with the humility of a beginner. Like a sponge, he absorbed the best of each martial art and philosophy, integrating it into his personal synthesis. "Absorb what is useful, reject what is useless," he summarized. This constant openness to learning, like a clean channel rather than a full cup, was his secret to continuous evolution. Influenced by Zen, Bruce Lee sought inspiration beyond rational thought, in that fertile void from which creativity emerges. As he pointed out, awareness is without choice, without pretension, without anxiety. For Bruce Lee, the goal was to achieve that expanded state of awareness, of pristine perception beyond all conceptualization. Although he came from tradition, Bruce Lee was not tempted to perpetuate conventions without questioning them. As he said, "To taste my cup of water, you must first empty yours." He was willing to deconstruct everything and reinvent himself completely. For Bruce Lee, the goal of learning was precisely to break with established molds and open up to a direct relationship with life, without the mediation of any system of ideas. Only from that openness and direct observation can true understanding and wisdom arise. Although his roles on the big screen catapulted him to worldwide fame, Bruce Lee conceived martial arts as more than mere combat. They were a profound and personal form of art. In his own words, "Beyond technical perfection, beyond martial prowess, there is an individual in search of his own voice." Combat for him was merely the brush with which he painted his self-portrait, the canvas on which he expressed his being. And with every movement, every strike, every gesture, he transformed martial arts into something more, a sublime expression of the human condition. When you are as formidable as Bruce Lee, speaking of defeats might seem like a fantasy. Bruce Lee never lost an official fight, and each combat was an opportunity for growth and continuous learning. Most geniuses have mentor figures who enhance them, but Bruce Lee was the author of his own greatness. His fire, his infinite motivation was born from within. In his words, "I find my reward in overcoming obstacles that seem insurmountable. That is what makes me feel alive." This insatiable self-motivation, a product of trusting his inner compass over any external validation, propelled the dragon's flight. Bruce Lee was very aware of the dangers of confining himself to a rigid martial style, no matter how effective it might be. This understanding was what kept Jeet Kune Do in a perpetual state of evolution, always faithful to its foundational principle. "Be like water, my friend." Lee declared with conviction, "Jeet Kune Do is the embodiment of change and growth. It never remains static. It detaches from any organization that wants to define or limit it, and therefore escapes any definition." This elusive and changing nature was, in fact, the heart of his life philosophy. Bruce Lee was very aware of the dangers of confining himself to a rigid martial style, no matter how effective it might be. This understanding was what kept Jeet Kune Do in a perpetual state of evolution, always faithful to its foundational principle. "Be like water, my friend." Lee declared with conviction, "Jeet Kune Do is the embodiment of change and growth. It never remains static. It detaches from any organization that wants to define or limit it, and therefore escapes any definition." This elusive and changing nature was, in fact, the heart of his life philosophy. Although he died prematurely at the age of 32, Bruce Lee's legacy lives on intact in millions of hearts. It embodies values that transcend eras and cultures: his quest for inner truth, his radical self-expression, his perpetual thirst for transcendence. Bruce Lee taught us the hero's path, of one who consecrates every minute of his life to an ideal. His immortal flame will continue to inspire us to always reach our maximum potential. And with this, we conclude our journey through the philosophical mind of the magnificent Bruce Lee. We have unveiled the secrets behind his greatness and superhuman effectiveness, concepts such as effortless action, constant adaptation, and the way of no way. Principles that shaped his exceptional life, and that you can now integrate into your daily life. Bruce Lee's philosophy goes far beyond martial feats. It offers a true practical guide to achieving mastery and personal fulfillment. Do you feel inspired to begin your own path to greatness? Then share this video to expand Bruce Lee's legacy. May his philosophical flame illuminate and drive the evolution of more people. And if you want to continue nurturing your mind with high-value content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey. Let's continue to elevate the spirit of the dragon together.